So batteries have gotten more and more powerful, and they're storing more power in a smaller space when it comes to smartphones especially. And most of us, we use our phones throughout the day and then charge them late at night. I know I definitely do that myself. So in this video, what we're going to take a look at is whether it's safe or not to actually leave your phone plugged in to the charger while you're sleeping. We're going to answer that age-old question of, is it okay to charge your phone overnight? Let the download begin. So if you're new here and you want to learn how to use and troubleshoot devices plus some other cool tech stuff, we can help. All you got to do is smash that subscribe button and then hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss when we release some cool, helpful content. Well, it's the age-old question, right? That's plagued humanity since the dawn of time, or at least since the dawn of the cell phone age. Is it okay to leave your phone plugged into the charger overnight while you're sleeping to charge up your cell phone? We're going to answer these questions in this video, but first, a little bit of science. So smartphones rely on the lithium-ion battery. Battery cells that have two electrodes. One electrode is the graphite and the other one is the lithium-ion carbon oxide itself. And there's basically a liquid electrode in between that allows the lithium ions to move between the electrodes. So when you charge your battery, they go from positive to negative, and when you discharge your battery, they move in the opposite direction. So as you can see, when you do something simple like plug in your phone, there's actually a lot that's going on within the battery itself. So again, that plagues the question on whether it's safe for the battery to be charging overnight connected to a power source continuously until you wake up in the morning. So on that front, the answer is actually, yeah, it's fine to connect your phone. It won't harm the battery, as modern batteries nowadays have kind of a trickle charge effect. They actually have components within the smartphone or devices that are capable of sensing when your phone is either fully charged or close to fully charged, and some devices will just go into a trickle charge, which means it's charging at 90% or it's charging at 100%, and it's just waiting for that 1% to drop off and then it will recharge it again. So the phone itself is not continuously charging, it's just in a trickle charge method. Or devices like the iPhone actually have some smart battery options as well, where the iPhone will actually know around when you use your battery on a day-to-day basis or when you unplug your phone from the charger on a night-to-night basis, and it'll only charge your phone about 80% and then charge the remaining 20% when it knows you're about to either wake up or when it knows you're about to start using your cell phone. So on the battery front anyway, you're not going to do any kind of major damage to your phone by using your phone consistently throughout the day and then plugging it in at night and leaving it charging until you wake up in the morning. But what about the other end of the spectrum? Are you in danger of doing yourself or your home any harm from leaving a lithium-ion battery plugged into a charger overnight without you paying attention to it, just kind of leaving it and sleeping either right next to it or close to it or even in another room? Are you in danger of a fire? Are you in danger of anything of that nature? The truth is, there's always the possibility that thing can start a fire. Lithium-ion batteries are built to store a ton of power in a really small contained space. So there's always the off chance of the battery overheating or heat getting so intense that it could combust, explode, catch fire. It can just become a dangerous situation if that battery is compromised in any way. There's actually a precedent for this. I'm looking at you, Note 7. If we all remember the Note 7 debacle, those batteries were not tested properly. They came out of the warehouse improperly tested, and that caused that battery to combust, and that can actually be a dangerous situation if you were ever to run into it. And even on the other side of the spectrum, these things come with manufactured chargers, but those chargers can be expensive to replace, can run sometimes 40 to 50 bucks. But if you go on Amazon, you can find something that's 5 to 10 bucks that's not from the manufacturer. But some of those off-brand chargers are also not safety tested. They're not made with safety in mind. So those can actually be the thing that causes a fire or causes damage to the device that you're trying to charge. So whenever you're using an off-brand charger, you'll notice that the manufacturer doesn't assume any responsibility for what that off-brand charger does to their devices. So that's another safety concern that you really have to worry about. But with all that said, the percentage of the danger that the phone could either explode or catch fire is actually pretty low because of all the safety mechanisms these phones now have in place. A lot of these phones do do have heat sensors. A lot of these phones do have the ability to detect when the battery is either overheating or malfunctioning and either send out a warning or shut the device down itself. So there's a lot of mitigating factors that's already in place in these devices to prevent that particular danger from happening. But there is that slim, tiny, small percentage that the problem still may happen. So now, taking those two factors into consideration, let's circle back around to the question of whether it's safe to leave your phone plugged in overnight as you sleep. The answer to this is most likely going to be yes. It's going to be one of the main times that you can actually fully charge your phone without using it. So charging it overnight is still probably the most pristine way of getting your phone charged, but you always want to approach it with some guidelines to safety, probably more guidelines to safety than you've ever thought about before. So the first one would be to keep your phone in a cool place, as cool as possible. Heat is always the problem here. The hotter the phone gets, the more compromised the battery gets, the more compromised the device itself gets. So if it's in a cool area, then you're fine. Don't charge your phone while it's underneath a pillow. Don't charge your phone while it's on your bed covered in your sheet or something like that. That can actually add to the overall heat of your device and actually can lead to fires and actually can damage your property. So you want to be as cautious as possible. I know we love to have our phones with us in bed. We love to have our phones with us basically wherever we go. But while it's charging, I definitely would suggest to keep it in a ventilated, cool area. That way the heat doesn't become a problem for the device itself. Now, continuing on the heat factor, try not to use your phone while it's charging. I know it's difficult to let go of the phone even for a second, but while it's charging, if you're using the phone to do graphically intensive things or things that the processor has to work really hard to accomplish, like watching media, for instance, watching YouTube videos, watching Netflix, those things require a lot of processing power. The processor can get really hot. In turn, the battery can get really hot. So you're basically discharging your phone at the same time you're charging your phone. So there's a lot of energy going in and out. I definitely wouldn't suggest using the phone while it's charging, again, to prevent that heat factor and also to keep you as safe as possible. Just put the phone down for a couple of seconds and go read a book or something. Another cool safety tip that you can do is, if possible, try powering your phone off when you're charging it overnight. It actually reduces the stress on the battery itself and does do a lot of benefit in helping your battery sustain and also helping you making sure that you're safe, because the phone itself is off. There's not too much stress on the battery while it's charging. It actually charges a lot quicker because your screen is not on. There's nothing in the background running. The phone can just naturally charge to 100%. When you wake up in the morning, you're good to go. But it's only if it's really possible. Some people want to keep their phone on in case of emergency because it's the only way of contact. I understand that, but if possible, try turning it off. So if turning it off is not possible, you can also put in the do not disturb mode, or you can put it in airplane mode, and you can sometimes customize those alerts to still come in while it's in do not disturb mode. That also helps. What it's basically doing is just eliminating any kind of background information that's going on that can put a stress on the battery while you're trying to fully charge the battery back up. And also always try your best to use authorized chargers. Try your best to use the manufacturer chargers. If you're a Samsung user, try to use Samsung chargers. If you're an Apple user, try to use Apple chargers when you can. And if you're purchasing third-party chargers from like Amazon or any place like that, just make sure those things are certified by those companies, because the certification really just makes them a little bit safer. Having an uncertified charger, you're kind of just plugging your phone into some random thing that plugs into an electricity, and you're trusting that it's going to be safe, and it may not be, because again, these things are not regulated and you're not certified by the manufacturer itself. So it can end up overheating your device, or the charger itself can end up overheating and causing a fire, and nobody wants that. So you can definitely charge your phone overnight safely without worrying too much about it, especially if you follow these tips. So do you charge your phone overnight? Have you ever been worried about charging your phone overnight? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below this video. If you have any tips, also share them in the comment section as well. In the meantime, go ahead and check out some of the other videos we've done. We've done some information on the iPhone 9 that's coming out, and this is something that YouTube believes you'd enjoy watching. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button and then tap that subscribe button with that bell for notification so you don't miss when we release some cool, helpful content like this one. Until next time, guys. Peace.